Peace, 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 y'all. Peace. This is Star with the Star Bloom. So, I had shared on live the other day about, and I'm trying to be quiet. My baby in there having her little break, okay, between classes. I homeschool y'all. But I had shared about arrested development, and as I stated, I wanted to start being more intentional, not just saying things, but giving like a deeper meaning to things so we could be able to actually process it and see where it may apply to us because you don't know where you actually getting markers at. So this is what'll happen. You start walking on your path towards experiencing yourself and you're connecting with yourself and you don't really know what your way is, right? So in finding your way, you're trying to find what is it that you do that's specific to you that allows you and allots you the space when you connect to be rendered with like truth. This is significant. You know, I had this marking. I want to say focus, but I want to say this because it's important. I had this marking about the peach tree, um, the cat, the black cat, and the balloons. And basically, the idea that I had was there was a friend that I had who always basically talked about not being able to see the signs. And I remember when I started to meditate and I started to connect with myself, there would be like small signs. And I had been taught to basically write down everything. And it would be the oddest things that didn't make sense that created and cultivated a picture that meant something specifically to me, you know? And when that deals with arrested development, I feel like all of this is really just about you basically becoming in partnership with your spirit and learning what that relationship and that connection is. And I feel like it's significant because a lot of the times we don't know how many things have been placed with us in our adolescence. And this is what I was wanting to share about that part. So the dose about the arrested development. I'm gonna give y'all the definition because I know a lot of people Googled it. So I'm gonna give you the definition, okay? Arrested development refers to an abnormal succession or hold on or delay in the physical, emotional, psychological growth of an individual, often stemming from trauma, neglect, overprotective parenting, or other adverse early life experiences. In psychology, it describes a state where a person's emotions, cognitive, or social development is stunted at a certain age, preventing them from achieving maturity expected for their age. While not formally recognized as a distinct mental health disorder, all right, it is closely associated with conditions such as personality disorders, attachment disorders, and trauma related issues, right? So a lot of this stuff is like ick. Mm, a lot of this stuff be like the ick, yo. I'm about to do something real quick. Make sure it don't happen again. Okay, but a lot of this stuff be like an ick because it's like disorders, mental. I don't have none of that, right? And okay, but what we don't know is things like dormant. It might shoot up to the surface. Triggers aren't always sitting on the surface. They're triggered. It's like you touch something like somebody went out of bounds. It's like it's a trigger, right? And a lot of times we want to go into situations where other people meet our triggers with sensitivity, with apprehension. Like you want people to be on almost like there's this mindset where you're walking on like a what are some things that explode y'all minds? Like they're like bombs and stuff. It's like this stuff has been laced. Like you're a ticking time bomb. Nobody could really sit in your space because of all of your triggers. When you're dealing with arrested development and you're thinking about your inner child or things that may have happened in your adolescence that you may have not necessarily considered to really deal with or I don't really say deal with. I actually have been saying come over lately. And the reason why is because a lot of the times we live in shady spaces, you know. Sometimes we believe things in an adolescent mindset. You may not have full understanding. I had to nurture the spaces that may have not necessarily seen the things. Um, it's okay, one, for you to recognize that there's places where you could actually add some water, you know, like not necessarily just pouring emotions into it, but really just actually just giving it your attention, placing the space where you want to be at with that, and actually just moving forward. When it comes to spirituality, however, and you think about arrested development, what I believe is hidden in plain sight, right? Okay. And the reason why I want to add both parts of it is because that's where I'm at with it, y'all. Okay. A lot of the times, and this movie, I wish I remembered this movie. I don't know if it was like called 13 or it was called 15 or something, but it was this girl where she was basically in school and she had this friend, beautiful little girl, and her and the girl basically decided to just do something random. Her best friend basically wanted to be a model her whole life, and she wanted to do this. This was her dream, right? And the other girl really didn't care anything about it, but she loved her best friend, and she really just wanted to go and support her best friend. It was something about her that made her different and unique, yet she allowed herself to sit in the back and not necessarily push forward and give all that she could give, just because she was more comfortable being in the room versus actually conditioning or forcing or I don't want to say forcing, but owning the room, right? Because some people's energy own the room just because of who they are, right? Some people, you could tell you love those people. They come in the room, they dress, they got a certain type of energy. They walk in the room, and it's like, oh my God, I want to be around that person. This girl basically just knew where she kind of was at. She had conditioned herself at this rate, and her best friend was her best friend. Anywho, they ended up going to these auditions. The best friend didn't get picked, but she got picked. What was crazy about it is they didn't even know if they wanted to pick her, but she was so unique and so awkwardly good and naturally good at something that she wasn't interested in that they could not necessarily move away from her. Somebody seen her and got infatuated with her uniqueness and seeing that she had a spark on her. When I started watching this, the thing that made me be so intrigued by it was the numerology and how I could see the numbers and her age and how it made sense that this would be the time that this would occur within her life, that she would have this shift. Well, she ended up being, you know, this huge model. She ended up getting a contract. She became overnight success. The thing that I think a lot of people don't get is that people who come over mm, that hump that they've had with themselves and accepting their light and accepting who they are and accepting that things may have been what they were before, yet this is a new rate because I'm actually taking the things that may have been neglected, maybe hoarded, maybe overbearing. Somebody like is like, you know, smothering, or you've had people who try to cloak your energy, you've had people drain. I've taken these things and they've come over with me into the light of perspective, and I've shifted this. This has been alchemized, right? And now I get to be at a different rate with myself because I've taken this space that was condensed, yet it was always meant to be what it was always going to be because there was a specific essence that lived there, but it lay dormant only because of the the delay and the stagnation. All right. It's not necessarily to place the blame on other people. It's more so to be aware for yourself so you could move forward in how it is that you're being and what it is that you've always known that you were meant to be in. Okay. I hope that this makes a little bit more sense. If not, Ask more questions, y'all. Put it on the page that way other people can see, and then other people could add more information. All right, we can start the conversation.